good, informative, doesn't go bad.
Okay.
Light auto turns off at 5. Every time we have a
He
meeting,
finds a way to do it.
it's
This
just
is
auto shuts off.
the equivalent of like what this is.
This was.
I wish we had
Oh, okay. What I want to do. Yeah. Never been to one.
Well, okay, so the cemetery board, we have a township member, which is Ed, and then city member, which is me, and then we have a member at large, and yeah, Ms. Watson's been doing it since before I was there, and she wanted to start up again. So,
Re-up.
Re-up, so. But it has to be approved by both us and those guys, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So we get to hang out every now and again. Hi, Jeff. Juggling, man, just juggling. 5 up, boss.
I haven't heard back from Shane.
Okay. Waiting on, I think, we're waiting on the sound system or something.
The video and sound system. We are
I
living.
guess we're just gonna go ahead and start instead of the display boards.
So we're good to go? Okay, let's go. It's just a little past 5. We're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start the meeting by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, we're going to have a joint meeting with Washington Township trustees and the Piqua City Commission. And so we're going to call the roll and make sure we get who's here.
All right. From Washington Township, Ed McMacken, Scott Black, and Jeff Lang. From the Piqua City Commission, Commissioner Simmons,
Present.
Commissioner Walker,
Here.
Mayor Vetter,
Here.
Commissioner Wade,
Here.
Commissioner DeBras.
Here. I have a couple of comment cards that have been submitted in reference to the consent agenda, which is going to be our next item. So Jonathan Wessel, would you like to comment?
Yes, screens aren't working yet. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Trustees. I want to briefly comment on the Cemetery Board appointment tonight. The recent Ohio Auditor of State report on Forest Hill Union Cemetery identified several serious internal control issues during the 2022 to 2023 audit period. These included financial statement errors, missing documentation for perpetual care trust funds, and the fact that bank reconciliations were completed for only 5 of the required 24 months. The audit also identified improper payroll payments and late tax remittances that resulted in findings for recovery. It's important to remember that the cemetery receives over $220,000 a year in property tax revenue from local residents, so this involves the stewardship of public funds. Under Ohio law and as described in the audit itself, the cemetery is governed by a board of trustees appointed by the City of Piqua and Washington Township, and those entities levy the property tax that funds its operations. That means both bodies here tonight are not just making appointments, you are ultimately responsible for ensuring that proper financial oversight is in place. To be clear, the individual being reappointed tonight, was not serving on the board during most of the period covered by that audit, so this is not about assigning blame to her personally. But the audit makes it clear that basic financial controls were not functioning as they should have been. So given that, I think it is reasonable to ask what has changed. What specific steps have been taken to ensure that financial oversight by the board is active and effective? Thank you.
Thank you. And I have a comment sheet from Kim.
I just, in taking a look at this, the approval of the minutes from January 16th of 2024. Do any of you guys remember what happened back then? My question, and it's not really even a question, it's more of a statement. When you're working with something that's 2 years later and you're doing approval of minutes that was done 2 years ago, it's pretty clear that you need to put some kind of measure in place that much time does not pass, because no one can remember 2 years ago, and most likely the paperwork may not even be where you thought it was for that. So I would recommend that you guys put something in place where, I mean, I don't know, take a look, have a much quicker time frame, like 30 to 60 days, that the minutes should be approved even though there's not going to be a meeting, because 2 years is just not acceptable.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda will be in two parts. Number one, it will have the approval of the minutes from the last joint meeting, which was January 16th of 2024. And there were 3 of us on the commission who were present for that, and of course Washington Township trustees as well. And then also the consent agenda will include a resolution, I think, reappointing Sharon Watson to the Forest Hill Union Cemetery Board. Questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes and the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the consent agenda be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The consent agenda is approved. Now we need to adjourn from the joint meeting with Washington Township. I didn't ask if you had any questions, comments, or whatever, if you'd like to make them this way. Okay, very good. We're going to adjourn from the joint meeting with Washington Township trustees and the Piqua City Commission. And by the way, my assumption is our bylaws call for this meeting to occur periodically, and that's why we're doing that tonight, is to fulfill that part of the obligation. Do I have a motion to adjourn for the joint meeting with the Washington Township trustees?
No motion.
Moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We're talking about adjourning the meeting with the Washington Township trustees and the Piqua City Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is approved. Thank you very much for coming, and hopefully we don't have to wait 2 years, but we have on occasion. So, thank you.
Oh, okay, now we gotta go. Sorry. Got ahead of myself.
Next, we're going to consider an adjournment to executive session. So if there is support for that idea, I would need a motion to do that.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn to executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded. The executive session is to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, or compensation of the city manager or city clerk. That's the purpose of that. So we have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned to executive session.
Yeah, he's done. You got younger. I got older.
You're doing great.
to redo our roll call?
Pardon me?
Do you have to redo our roll call?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do what, yeah, I mean, you gotta vote to, that part, you gotta do a roll call vote. but-
I wanted to make sure you
I got one here for R41. Let's see, R41 on, oh, there it is. He's already been served.
Yeah, he did, and Kim already did her other consent
Right.
agenda ones.
So now I'm looking at three,
She's bringing it to you after the meeting.
42.
Oh, okay.
I want to get him in.
Oh, you found it?
Three.
Oh, knew I'd
Okay,
left it
thank you.
someplace.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you.
one of those little metal wallets that spit your cards out at you?
But it's I have a metal, one metal card. It's like two boys like that, it'll fall out after the time.
I was thinking about, did you help clean up the property over at Ann Stevens' house on South Main Street? We did it in the fall of.
Is that the one that had the real bad fence road that was so full of stuff?
No, that's one over on, that's one on Roosevelt, where you and I worked on that one. I know you did that one. I'm concerned about her, so.
I'm not, no, I don't think I was on the South Main one. I did that one and another one over by the Japanese farm over there, the other side of the river.
Yeah, yeah. We are back from executive session, and so I need a motion to adjourn from executive session.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Let's have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Simmons,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker,
Aye.
Mayor Vetter,
Aye.
Commissioner Wade,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBras.
Aye.
We are back, and we are officially out of executive session. Before we start the business agenda, I want to read a statement. As per ordinance O-9-25, adopted on September 16th of 2025, an ordinance to adopt the 25 supplemental pages to the city's book of charter was to have been passed by the city, has been passed by the city commission no later than the last date in March. Our city clerk has been in contact with American Legal Publishing, and while the pages have been printed and mailed, they have not been received by the city in time to include in this week's agenda packet. Therefore, the ordinance with the supplement pages will be presented to the commission at the earliest city commission after being received by the clerk's office. So we're aware that we need to have those, but we don't have them in hand at this point. Okay. So next, we will consider our business agenda and the rules of conduct. Is there approval of the rules of conduct?
So moved.
Moved. Is there support for the motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded that the rules of conduct for the meeting be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The motion, the business agenda, the rules of conduct is approved. Now we're going to move into the consent agenda. We have minutes from the March 3rd meeting.
Approval of the minutes from the March 3rd, 2026 regular city commission meeting.
Do we have discussion about the minutes of the March 3rd meeting? Hearing none, we'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the March 3rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the minutes of the March 3rd, 2026 regular commission meeting be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we're going to move on to new business. The first item is ordinance number O-3-26, a first reading.
An amended ordinance to make appropriations for the city of Piqua, Ohio for the year 2026.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Our Finance Director, Mr. O'Brien, could not be with us tonight, so I'm going to be presenting his items for you this evening. This particular ordinance is a first reading on appropriations to the budget. There are two items. The first one in Section 1 is additional funding for needed legal services in the law department in relationship to prosecution. These cases are typically brought forward for prosecution by the police department. And in the second section is moving funds for the Economic Development Department to support projects that they will be embarking on this year after some additional dollars were known in terms of what projects would cost.
Thank you. Now we'll have a public comment. I have a comment sheet from Kim Heister.
So you typically said they're in Section 1. The legal services is typically for prosecution from the police department and stuff. Is this also for areas in which the city is being sued? Or are you guys going after someone? That's the one question. And also, like, the appropriations are supposed to be pretty set at the end of the year, and that was only, you know, like two and a half months ago. They're usually pretty set. So could we not see this ahead of time to know? Because I know there's a lot of issues coming up with the city. Could we not anticipate that earlier? I guess I'm just kind of wondering why that seems like it's coming up so quickly. The second question is, so one of the projects is to provide improvements in order to facilitate the development of the 33-story townhomes. Are these the homes that's being there by Lock 9 is a question. And if so, how could we not know, or how is it possible that we're having to pay the contractor to put other measures in? I mean, why? It doesn't make any sense to me that there would need to be upgrades already, and why would we be paying for it? Isn't the developer supposed to be doing that? Also regarding the, so last meeting, I think it was last meeting, when we were talking about appropriations, the cannabis fund came up. It was $416,000. And what it turned out, and I think Philip had actually said something like, it looks like this money is being transferred out into the general fund. So if it becomes part of the general fund, and then the comment from Mr. Oberdorfer was, well, we have to tidy up 2025 first. I'm not exactly sure what that means. To me, it means, well, maybe we need to use this other money, and maybe we'll get it out to park funds, maybe we won't. Are any of these being pulled out of what was going to be allocated for the parks cannabis fund? And I would strongly suggest you 5 stand up and make those monies from the cannabis funds strictly for the parks so that they can't be used for anything else, and for all the parks less Lock 9, so that we can get monies back into the other parks. Lock 9 is its own beast. It's a top tier. We need help with all the other ones that's been in the wayside while we spend millions of dollars on Lock 9. So I would hope one of you guys, or two of you guys, or all of you guys step forward and actually make that measure to help out the existing parks, not Lock 9.
Thank you. By the way, if you would like to submit those questions in writing, you can do that as an option for yourself. So that would be an appropriate thing to do, to consider, to do. Well, I'm offering you an opportunity to put them in your terms. Yeah, if you'd like to do that, that's an option. Next, we'll have commissioners' comments on the first reading.
Yeah.
Plus, the funds are just for prosecution, correct?
Right. This particular appropriation was to accommodate the contract for prosecution services. It's not related to any lawsuits or anything of that nature.
And what law firm are we using for that?
That will be McKellar, Felger, Fight, and Gutman.
Other questions from commissioners?
Do we have an attorney from their firm that's assigned to this, or?
Jessica?
The contract hasn't been finalized yet, but it is anticipated to be the entire firm.
Okay.
Other questions? Then this will stand as the first reading for ordinance number 03-26. Now we're going to move into another resolution. This time we're going to talk about resolution number R-42-26.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a program year 2025 CHIP partnership agreement by and between the Miami County Board of Commissioners, the City of Piqua, and the City of Troy for the Ohio Department of Development Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This resolution is a resolution that we do every other year to be a subrecipient of Miami County's application to receive the ODOD CHIP program, which is the Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program. This program, we are again, a subrecipient. So the county works with us, the City of Troy, and we apply to get federal funds through ODOD, and those funds then can be used to implement our local CHIP program. Just to give you a little background on the CHIP program, it is a federally funded housing initiative designed to assist low and moderate income households with critical home repairs that improve health, safety, and structural integrity. So again, this is a federally funded program. It is not something that the city is paying for. It is funds that are then given to the city to utilize and administer this program. Locally, we've done this at least since the 90s. We've authorized this program every 2 years. And we, unfortunately, the money that has been coming to the city has been reduced each year. So we do have a backlog. We actually have a waiting list right now of the CHIP program of about 41 homes. Every year we try to do 3 to 5 projects if we're able. Unfortunately, sometimes those funds don't go as far as you can imagine with some of the inflation that has occurred when we're replacing windows or we're upgrading heating systems for people's houses. That money just doesn't go as far as it used to. So we are grateful to work with the county and with our partners to receive this federal funding. And again, this will be a 2-year program, so this is actually considered the 2025 program, even though it is for the years 2026 and 2027. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Next, we'll call for a public comment. I have a comment sheet from Kim Heisler.
First of all, I was just kind of curious because it's 2025 when it's supposed to be for 26 and 27. I'd like an explanation on that. Maybe that's just a normal thing, though. I actually did a document request on this for looking for Appendix A. I can't remember if it went to you or someone else, but nowhere on here says Appendix A. Was it to you that I sent it to, that responded to that? Well, I'm actually, this isn't the first time where in the documentation of the resolution, it says, we've attached this, or look at Appendix A, Appendix B, Flowchart 1, whatever. It says, right here in this thing, it says, Exhibit A outlines the program terms and conditions to be satisfied with responsibilities. It doesn't say A, although the attached information appears to be that same stuff, but it doesn't say Appendix A. That is attention to details that needs to be looked at. And I tried to do a little bit of research on this, and it's great that the federal government gives us stuff like this. And it looks like the city actually sets the parameters, like how many houses it could be used for. And it turns out, I think it was 263,000, like roughly $50,000 a home. And you have so many on the waiting list. Isn't it something that maybe we could, and I guess would probably have to be next time, but like make it like a $10,000 and get more people helped along the way to help that many more people instead of rehabbing like one home. Possibly do something that's going to benefit, 26 people instead of just 5. I think that would be a tremendous thing to help the citizens out and a great boost for a lot more people. And it also looked like you guys actually, I don't know how your vetting process is. You said that you had a lot on the waiting list. I'm assuming they've probably already been vetted, but is that the case? And it also looks like, unless I looked at this paperwork wrong, it looked like there's 814,000 there that's unused. And that's probably spread between, all 3 of you. But I don't understand if there's some unused, why we wouldn't necessarily be using that unless you're holding it so that it could be more than 50,000 per. And actually, is it like across the board, or is it totally dependent on what that particular needs is for that home?
Thank you. Now we'll have commissioners' comments in reference. But Mr. Simmons is retrieving his cell phone from his truck. He should be back shortly. Are there questions from commissioners about this resolution?
Kyle, I'm assuming, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the reason that says fiscal year 25, even though it is for years 26 and 27, is because it's a federal program and it was funded in the federal government's fiscal year 25 appropriations process.
You are correct.
Is there a reason why we don't do it in $10,000 increments instead of the way that we do it now?
So we do it project-based. We don't do it as a number amount. So in terms of the vetting and all of that, each project goes through a process, and they are requesting certain things without giving a, we try to make it anonymous so people don't have to feel as though we're telling everyone everything, although it is all public. But today, I would just give you 2 projects. Like the last 2 projects we did, one was $74,000. And one was $57,000. So it is challenging today to make an impact on a home, which is the goal for $10,000. So obviously we would love to give everyone a little bit of the pool, but unfortunately it's just the goal of the program is to increase the housing stock and to help, again, individual people who are of low and moderate income. And a lot of the time, that just means we can't do as many projects.
So the goal is to fix the problem, not to half fix the problem.
Correct.
Have the properties on the waiting list already been vetted?
Some of them have. I couldn't answer that directly of that number 41. Cindy Potter is our community development manager. who manages this program within my department, and she certainly reaches out to each individual homeowner. So that 41 that I noted, I can't tell you that they all have been vetted, but I believe a majority of all of those have been vetted, yes.
And then the 814,000, is that the total allocation for the county?
Correct. Our allocation is $263,466.
Thank you, sir.
Kyle, can you just hit on what all was, the two projects you mentioned, what all was repaired in those homes?
Sure. So some of the things that were replaced, they replaced windows, they replaced the heating system, electrical corrections and upgrades. One of them was accessibility. So it did provide some specific improvements to the home for the accessibility of the individual. And then almost all of the projects also involve the installation of smoke and CO detectors to assure that the home is protected for those things going forward.
Is there a possibility that the smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector program could be part of that and added to some of these homes that don't have them at the present time?
I would have to check in whether that sits under the CHIP allowances. Again, I think some of the challenges that we have is there's a number of different programs. This program really is intended, again, to try to fix a house, and that's why we aren't able to do all of them. You know, you could look at it two ways, that it's a good thing we have 41 homes that have an interest in being part of this program. You could say that's a bad thing. You know, obviously, from our perspective, we look at it as we want to get this program out there so everybody knows, and those that are eligible could be vetted and potentially get on that list. But our goal is to continue to provide that service to those people to the best of our ability for each of those projects.
I just know with the rash of fires we've had lately that concerns me with the lower income people not having the batteries to replace what they may even have that are non-functioning. So,
yep.
Okay, thank you.
And my memory is that we have had some other fire and CO2 programs in the city. I think.
Yeah, so the fire department does sponsor that. I'm not certain where they're at with it this year, but those have been available in the past.
So there really are several opportunities. The CHIP program may be one, but also through the fire department, there may be another opportunity to do something with that. Okay. Other questions from commissioners? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote on resolution number R-42-26. Is there support for that motion?
Support. Yep.
First here?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that resolution number R-42-26 be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Let's take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Simmons,
Nay.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes.
Mayor Vetter,
Aye.
Commissioner Wade,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBras.
Aye.
The motion is approved. Next, we're going to discuss resolution number R-43-26.
A resolution authorizing a temporary loan of cash from the general fund to the Economic Development Capital Projects Fund.
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, I'm presenting this item for Mr. O'Brien, who I'm sure would do a much better job than I'm going to do, but I will attempt to explain this resolution. This is seeking authority to move some money as a temporary loan from the general fund to the Economic Development Capital Projects Fund. The reason being, the city is exploring the option of issuing bonds to support capital projects for 2026. In the meantime, the Economic Development Director has multiple projects in the works that need to move forward due to certain timeline constraints. Chris would be happy to explain the projects he has in the hopper, and he has the next two resolutions are for those types of projects. So we're just seeking to move the money from the general fund to the Economic Development Project Fund, and at which time that the debt is issued, the general fund would be paid back from the proceeds of the bond sales. Thank you.
Chris, would you like to amplify that, or this is part of the staff presentation?
Yeah, I can elaborate on the specific projects that are touched by this. So the next two agenda items that you have before you are for two particular properties that would be advanced by the utilization of the funding that's being presented here. That is the Zollinger property at 101 South Wayne Street and the Edison Building at 114 East Water Street. The other two projects that would be supported by this funding include the improvements necessary to facilitate the riverfront townhomes at 128 South Main Street. That's at the Piqua battery site. And then the last is the acquisition of the two school properties, the former Wilder School site and the former High Street School site, which Commission authorized purchase of by resolution a couple years ago, actually.
Thank you. Now we'll have public comment. I have a public comment card from Kim Heisler in reference to this resolution.
So I see this, and all I see is more debt, more debt, more debt, more debt, more projects, and more debt. I don't know what we're trying to do with this city, but more debt, I think we're already $86 million in debt. 1.2 million. And one of the first meetings that I was at, I think Mr. Oberdorfer said, we're not in the real estate business. And I don't know how to run a business. So 1.2 million. Wow, that's interesting. We haven't even paid off Lock 9 yet. So I don't know if you guys have been briefed on what's going on or not. You guys don't have any discussions in front of us as citizens as to what is actually happening, and you should. You don't answer our questions, so we don't know if they're the same questions you guys have asked, or if you're just relying on them and just going with whatever they put in front of you. I don't think we need more debt. I don't think you should approve it. I understand the city of Piqua wants to move forward, but here's the deal. Lock 9, the data center, even though supposedly that's paid for, but there's things that we have to do that's not included in that, probably, that they're not paying for. So that's going to come out of our pockets also. These apartments that we just passed monies for things that wasn't planned on, and additional funds for that. None of this is bringing business or jobs to our area. It's bringing party people. It's bringing alcohol. It's bringing housing. I'm not sure who's coming, but it's not business. So economic development to me is a lot different than what apparently the city is looking at. It would be nice to have jobs in here. That would be fantastic. But to have to put out like an additional 1.2 million to build homes and not bring businesses is just, I don't understand it. And I would really love at some point to hear you guys' take on this. And at some point, I would really love to hear the discussions that you guys have, because you should be having those in front of us also, so we can hear what your thought process is. We're hearing nothing. And I'm sure you're counting on just the couple people to show up in the meeting and not say anything, and that's okay, because we won't answer your questions. We'll say that we will, and we may or may not. But if you guys could actually be transparent and have a conversation in front of us so we can see what you're thinking, what you guys have already discussed, what you've planned. I mean, we don't know. Have you guys been told that you can't speak at all in front of us? I mean, all it does to us is ask more questions. And it just puts a bigger divide between you guys and the public. We're not in a state that we can afford that now. We've got lawsuits coming at us from all directions. And if you don't think they are, there will be. And we can't afford this. We have to be transparent. Let people know. Become vulnerable. Speak about what's happening. Let us know what information you're getting. We don't get anything. I mean, at least are you guys still having meetings with the city manager to find out what's going on? Are you still meeting 2-on-2? Are you getting updates in writing at all? Those are all great questions I'd love to hear the answers to. And if you can let me know when we can get those answers or when you plan on doing that, what that process is to get them would be fantastic.
Thank you. Now we're going to have commissioners' comments in reference to Resolution R-43-26. Questions or comments?
Chris, can you go through some of the procedure, what PIC is, how this all happens, things like that, to help not just that, but me understand where and why and the how a little bit better. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly. Let me first differentiate between community development and economic development. There's two different lanes, right? And the community development, which is a lot of what we're discussing here as it relates to the loan items, is what facilitates quality of life and creates amenities for your citizens and the folks who choose to live here or maybe want to choose to live here. And without those assets or amenities, it's difficult for any economic development to happen. I can share with you real quick, we just recently celebrated the ribbon cutting at the Hartzell Propeller Innovation Center, a $20 million investment and 150,000 square foot expansion of that business. A local industry that is certainly very prominent in our community and a very large employer who continues to grow and continues to add employment opportunities for residents of Piqua and others, and are anticipating future growth, and we continue to work with them to facilitate that. Hartzell Hardwoods, Piqua Improvement Corporation, coincidentally, just supported their efforts to demolish the old wood shovel coal building, or wood shovel building. That's going to pave the way for them to be able to build a 140,000 square foot expansion, a $10 million improvement that will allow for them to continue to grow and prosper in Piqua, Ohio, as opposed to having to explore other opportunities because of site constraints. Miami Valley Steel Services, an item that's a couple down the agenda here, you'll hear about this evening. They are on the cuspice of a 40,000 square foot expansion project, another $20 million investment by local industry. Again, one of our largest employers in the community. Their expansion project will allow for them to employ an additional 20 individuals, and they're always proud to share with you that they have never had a layoff. New Tech Plastics just recently announced their acquisition of the property on West 36, which is just west of Piqua Steel Company. That will result in 20 new jobs coming to Piqua with the operations that they'll stand up there. And then a while back, K&L Supply acquired a building on Commerce Drive. They're in the power sports industry space. They're a supplier for Honda and others. And they're working on getting to a start line to make improvements to that facility so they can be able to fabricate what they make and be able to distribute out of that building, and that's another job creator. There are other examples. Those are all things that are reported through Dayton Business Journal, through the local media, through our social media website, shared at this meeting, and so on and so forth. So we do make an effort to communicate those things out. My phone is, I'm available for a phone call anytime, emails anytime. If ever there's a question about what's happening or what's not happening, as the mayor and commissioners know, we go to community partner events and other stakeholder engagements and share out that information wherever possible. So I've digressed, but I apologize. I felt like it was necessary to expound upon that. As it relates to the Piqua Improvement Corporation, let me first just share with you what they are. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding in the community about what a community improvement corporation truly is and how it functions. And so this is a few words I wrote down, so forgive me if I feel like I'm reading from a document here. But Piqua Improvement Corporation, PIC, as we refer to them, is a community improvement corporation that was established under Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 1724. And then the organization was established in 1979, and at that time it was designated as an agency for development by the city of Piqua. That's a common tool typically used in most communities, quite frankly, to be able to leverage the statutory powers that it provides the CIC to be able to do things to advance economic and community development interest in the locality that a municipality can't do. PIC's purpose and mission, as I just stated, is to advance, encourage, and promote the economic development and community development interest of the city of Piqua. PIC does this by using the statutory powers in the Ohio Revised Code provided to a community improvement corporation, including the authorities to, bullet 1, purchase, receive, hold, manage, lease, and otherwise acquire and sell, convey, transfer, lease, sublease, or otherwise dispose of real and personal property. Bullet 2, facilitate the reclamation, rehabilitation, and realization of vacant, abandoned, tax foreclosed, or other real property within the community. Bullet 3, assist local government and other nonprofit or for-profit interest to assemble, clear, and clear the title of property. 4, promoting economic expansion and housing development in the community. So as a nonprofit, a not-for-profit entity created to advance the economic and community development interest of the community, PIC depends primarily on the funding or financial resources necessary to do its work from the municipality. That is its primary source of funding. Always has been, always will be. Is typical in most communities. PIC has oversight by a board of directors that includes community leaders and public officials. The board makeup includes 6 individuals from the private sector and community not-for-profit space, and 6 city officials who are there by requirement of the statutes that govern CIC, which means the board is required at all times to include not less than 2/5 city officials. What that does is make sure that there's always some degree of alignment between community and economic development planning efforts that are undertaken typically by the city with the work that is being done by the CIC. Further, the CIC, as a designated agent of the city, still is required to receive authority from the city before it can take the actions that it is able to exercise. For example, they come to this body and ask for the financial support necessary to be able to do the improvements in support of the townhome project, is one example. Long story short, the CICs are the tool in the economic and community development toolbox that provide localities with what they need to be able to advance projects that will present positive outcomes for the community, but are otherwise challenged by conditions that might exist there and aren't able to go forward by way of the normal market conditions. So again, it's what you'll see in most communities where things are getting done. It's by design. The legislators realize that municipalities have certain guardrails that they need to operate within. And CICs are there as an instrument for them to be able to affect the outcomes or changes that the community has expressed through their planning efforts that they want to see happen. This gives them the ability to do those things.
Other questions from Commission?
Yes. I actually have a two-parter. So the PIC Improvement Corporation, is that any different than the Dayton Montgomery County Port Authority?
Yes.
I mean, are they both same type of corporation?
They're similar but different. They both enjoy their powers by way of the Ohio Revised Code that defines what those entities can and can't do. So the Dayton Port Authority operates as its own jurisdictional entity. It's not a part of Montgomery County or Dayton per se. However, they need the support of those local governments to be able to operate in their space or their jurisdiction. Same as PIC would need the support of the local municipality to be able to operate within its jurisdiction.
Okay, and then I know as we go on in the other resolutions, a lot of this has to do with building apartments and townhouses. Did we do a survey on the need to be having those, or is it just because of the business that you were talking about coming in, developing in the city, that we feel we're going to need those facilities?
It's both. We have planning documents, a lot of it originating from the 2007 Comprehensive Plan Update, which, as you all know, we're on the verge of updating, which is wonderful because that document provides a touchstone for all of the things that we aim to achieve. It is vetted with a tremendous amount of community stakeholder input, and then provides the guidance for what the community wants to see and needs to see happen. Beyond that, then typically there are documents that spin out of there that plan at the neighborhood level or look at specific topics of concern. We have housing studies that have been completed, most recently the one in partnership with Miami County, that indicate to us there is a need for this housing product type and the additional rooftops in general. So it is vetted or verified through a measured process and not just an anecdotal assumption.
That's it.
Good. Other questions?
Yes. Bear with me here. I got a couple for you, Chris.
Okay?
Are we in the real estate business?
We are not.
Are we in the economic development, community development business?
100%.
What does growth mean for our community?
Growth can look like a lot of things, but typically people equate it to jobs or industry expansion, but it's also housing and rooftops and amenities that are all necessary to have a viable, attractive community that people desire to live in.
What are the top 3 selling points or points when employers are looking to locate in a community that they look for?
Well, they're
In
very
your experience of doing this?
Yeah. They typically are looking for a locality that they feel like they can work with. If they sense resistance or hesitation to growth or development, they run the other way. That's what they tell us. That's not my opinion. That's what they tell us. They're looking for a community that wants to invest in itself. If we're not investing in making our community better, why would they? And that translates into developing the amenities, the housing stock, the diversity of housing options that will support the needs and interest of the employees that they want to or need to employ to be successful as an industry. And then thirdly or lastly, they look at our workforce. Piqua, the region in general, has a reputation for having a really solid workforce, and within a 45-minute drive, we've got a large labor pool that's available. So we check a lot of boxes. The list could go on in terms of other attributes of the community: proximity to 70-75, access to the entire eastern seaboard and 60% of the U.S. population, access to foreign trade zones, the airports, rail access. There's a lot of things that we pitch when we talk to folks. Most of it depends on what they're interested in.
My next question is, how much revenue is generated from the 3/4 empty lot and the one small office building on Main Street currently?
0. Well, 3/4 empty lot, and I'm sorry, what was
the single office building that sits on the corner?
For the city of Piqua, a very, very nominal amount. There's some income tax based upon the 2 or 3 employees that are in that office. But the property taxes, the locality doesn't really realize much in the way of property tax, right? So most of that is school district and other taxing entities. So the revenues produced are off of the business operations and or their incomes.
What would the potential revenue look like if that land was developed?
So with the 30 townhomes, I can tell you that would be approximately, I think it's a $7 million total investment, if I recall. And on that $7 million total investment, the increase in value, I think this is where you were going, currently with no structures and vacant lots and just a small office, there's a very small property valuation component. With the $7 million investment in the 30 new townhomes, the valuation of the land, but more importantly, the valuation of the buildings improvements will go up significantly, and that will result in much greater tax revenues, primarily property tax to the school district, but also individuals living in those units. So if you have 30 units, probably 2 people per unit, 60 folks who are spending their discretionary funds, hopefully in our downtown restaurant scene or local businesses and shops. So those are the anecdotal economic impact pieces. But all of that is relevant when you look at, what does it generate for the community in terms of revenues?
Absolutely. Of the 1.2 million here, do you think it's safe to say, even though this is only a part of that 1.2 million, that because of that development and that increased economic activity and impact, that there would be more than enough to pay back or to pay any of the financing on this deal?
100%. There's mechanisms such as a downtown redevelopment district, which we may very well present to you here in the near future, that would allow for the locality to be able to capture that increase in property tax. That would reroute it, so to speak. It doesn't change anything in terms of what the taxing entities are currently receiving. It just gives us a tool to be able to make sure that we're paid in whole for the public investment that drives the private investment that's creating all the increase in valuation.
So just so I heard you correctly, so our role as the municipality, the public entity, with the current state of our market, is to, at times, to be the first investor into a project to get it into a position to where we will attract the private capital to then generate additional revenue in the future to pay off that investment and then add additional revenue to the city's coffers.
Correct.
And why would we want to add additional revenue to our coffers?
Well, it's to pay for police and fire services, maintenance of streets, and all of the things that city government delivers to its residents or citizens and industries. Without that mechanism of a revenue, there is no way to provide those services.
So in other terms, in order to continue to provide the services that we provide, it's important for us to invest in our future and to find ways to increase our revenue so we don't have to pass that tax burden on to the current residents of the city?
Correct. You have a finite amount of land. You want to optimize the return from that land. If you put infrastructure in the ground or you put streets on the earth, and there's frontages along those assets, you want to enjoy the highest return on investment in terms of the land utilization that's accessing those public services and those public utilities.
And then my last question, and this is not necessarily for this one, it's for the next one, but this way I'll just get them all out here and I'll keep my mouth shut for the next one. Why is it important for us to have a seat at the table and to have some type of say in the economic and community development activities, especially in the core of our downtown?
Well, a lot of communities, and Piqua is one of them, have to do the things necessary to prime the pump, invest in ourselves, to attract the market interest that drives the additional investment that gets you over the tipping point to where the private segment does it on their own. And so if we're not investing in ourselves to create a market environment that is appealing to investors who do real estate and or do projects that are not easy projects, and creating a culture, environment, business environment, doing business with local government environment that makes it interesting or appealing to them to want to be here, then your community is going the wrong direction.
Thank you. I appreciate you answering your questions, and to my colleagues, I appreciate you allowing me to do that. Thank you.
Other questions from commission? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote on motion on resolution number R-43-26.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution number R-43-26.
Support for the motion?
I second it.
Moved and seconded that the resolution R-43-26 be approved. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
You're going to want a roll call, nay.
Okay, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Simmons,
Nay.
Commissioner Walker,
Reluctantly, yes.
Mayor Vedder,
Aye.
Commissioner Wade,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBras.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. Next, we're going to discuss resolution number R-44-26.
A resolution to authorize an economic development loan to the Piqua Improvement Corporation.
Thank you and good evening again. This item relates to the property at 101 South Wayne Street, which is the Zollinger Building. Just going through staff report here, the downtown redevelopment strategy that we completed back in 2012 initially identified this building as a catalytic project that if we are able to position it for redevelopment for the types of uses that will contribute positively to the community and the downtown environment, it will generate additional return based upon other activities happening around it. So there's the history here. So in 2018, PIC initially enabled the transfer of this property to UIC. That was a development group out of St. Louis who had identified the building as property they were interested in. And they were working through the preliminary planning and design work to come up with a concept that would generate 24 new residential units, 1- and 2-bedroom warehouse-style loft living units, and 3 efficiency-type units on the lower level with some commercial mixed use, coffee counter, sandwich counter of sorts, and a professional office. And that would result in about a $7 to $8 million investment, I think, at that time. And to get there, there's a significant capital stack that has to be assembled. As I referenced earlier, these types of projects are the projects that are more difficult, so there's a very limited number of developers that would even tackle them. And there's a certain area of expertise that's required for them to be able to do it. Unfortunately, as they advanced to the start line, they were close to being ready to do something. The little event called COVID rolled around, and their construction and development interest or holdings didn't fare so well, as just like a lot of contractors didn't fare so well during COVID. And they had to step back or pull back from the project. Officially in 22, they made that decision. So since 2022, we've been staying in communication with them, working towards identifying another development group or interest who could tackle this project. And fortunately, we have, through efforts from PIC, in addition to the city, we have a developer who we've now identified who is prepared to take on this project. You'll recall in December of 2024, I believe it was, we closed on the city loaned the money to PIC to be able to acquire the Town and Country building, 125 West Water, right across the street here. And PIC then put forth the effort, or has held the property, and we've since done the legwork necessary to identify the developer who we're talking with, who is able to, interested in doing that project as a historic preservation project. And if they do that one, they want to do the Zollinger project. So in 2024, we secured it. In 2025, all the initial planning work was done in terms of getting it on the National Register, which is necessary to make it eligible for historic tax credits. And then in 26, they'll go through the process of applying for those historic tax credits, getting their plans, designs completed, so that upon award of the tax credits later this year, they'll be ready to announce and move forward with a construction project in 2027. Upon completion there, that's probably about a 12 to 18-month project, they would turn their attention to the Zollinger building. So during that period of time they're doing construction on Town and Country, they would be doing the pre-development work that I just described for Town and Country. They'd be doing that for Zollinger. That is getting the tax credits teed up and putting together the plans and making it ready so that once they're finished with this one, they can turn their attention to that one, I'm going to say around 2028. So there's about a 2-year hold period there for PIC. But in doing so, it allows for us to have a predictable outcome that we know aligns with community planning documents, both the Downtown Riverfront Revitalization Strategy and the Piqua Placemaking Initiative identified the project as one of importance to be able to continue to build upon the things that we're aiming to accomplish in the downtown. And we now have a development group who has a track record and ability to be able to execute a project of that nature, which is pretty darn important because it's not something just anybody can do.
Thank you. I have a public comment card from Kim Heisler in reference to this resolution.
So again, more money and more money, more money. I understand you guys want to grow and have all this, and you know, it's clear you guys took a look at this stuff ahead of time. 106. Okay, so you had just mentioned the Town and Country. If I remember right, I think we paid $500,000 for that. I don't think that's what it appraised for. So based on that, so we're paying a large amount of money for something. Is that what's holding it in place? I get that. You have a guy coming in, but are you going to turn around then and sell it to those guys, or is that we're paying $500,000 for them to come in, and that's like a guarantee, and you're just going to hand it over to them? Or are they going to pay for it back? I mean, because this is like our money. And this Piqua Improvement Corporation, basically, as somebody else mentioned, is a silent financier, which the folks that's on it, I don't know that they're necessarily connected to the actual citizens and the public. I understand they're business owners, they're real estate people, movers and shakers, the same people who signed the NDA for the data center, which, as we are seeing now, is not turning out to be so well. So the $1 million, whatever. Now we're asking for close to $200,000 on 2 different projects. And I sent you guys each. You should have received an email from me that was going to be these questions, and I was hoping you guys would ask first. But since you haven't asked, I will ask, and I would expect to have the answers to these. So this is a loan, I believe. To the Piqua Improvement Corporation. What are actually the specific repayment terms, the interest rate, and the maturity on each loan to Piqua Improvement Corporation? And why are those terms not disclosed in the resolution itself? What collateral is the city receiving for each loan, and what happens if PIC cannot repay it? On forgiveness, under what circumstances, if any, can these loans be forgiven, and who makes that decision on behalf of the public? On disposition, if PIC sells or gives these properties to a private owner, which it's happened before, I believe, maybe not through PIC, but through other stuff, How will the proceeds be used, and how much will flow back into the city to repay the taxpayers? On accountability, given that PIC has previously taken parcels and transferred them at no cost to private parties, what safeguards are in place to prevent that from happening again with 101 South Wayne and on the next one? What specific measurable public benefits, taxes, tax base, jobs, tax base, housing units, and otherwise will be required in exchange for this level of public investment? So you mentioned a couple of things, Chris. PIC is there by design. It's there to be hidden, to make decisions so that the public is not involved. Again, the data center, not a good thing. And you're saying we're investing in ourselves, but I think maybe what you're saying is we're investing in the city, not necessarily in the citizens. So I would ask you guys to put guardrails on this money that we're giving out and don't just give it willy-nilly, because again, we're 86 million in debt already. I'm okay with growth. It just needs to happen in the right way, and it needs to be transparent.
Thanks for your opinion. Now we'll have commissioners' comments and questions.
I have a couple.
Can you start, Mr. Simmons?
Yeah. So as far as Kim's questions, do we have repayment terms?
Yeah, so the repayment terms will be the same on this as it was for the 125 West Water Street, the Town and Country property, which the commission previously authorized. Those terms are no interest. The repayment is deferred until the time the property is sold for development purposes. And at that time, the entirety of the sale proceeds go back to the city to make the city whole. The terms cannot be modified unless the city otherwise authorizes those changes or forgiveness of the loan. That's not the intention or expectation, but that would be how it would have to happen. The building is the collateral, and frankly, there's no such thing as development that doesn't include some element of risk. And if these projects could happen without the city or PIC's involvement, they would, but they're not. So that's why you use a tool like PIC to be able to execute a project like this.
Okay. The Piqua Improvement Corporation has a board, does it not?
It does.
Okay. Who from the city would be on that board?
So as previously referenced, 6 private community members, 6 city officials, myself, Mr. Oberdorfer, Mr. O'Brien, Mr. DeBras. There's currently 1 vacant seat, and 2. R.J. Monier, the power system director, will be appointed to fill the previously occupied seat by Mr. Kreger.
Okay, so the same city manager who is on the Piqua Improvement Corporation board is going to be hereby directed to execute the economic development loan agreement and supporting documents as described therein. So he's on both sides of this.
No, he is the common thread in terms of the city and PIC being in concert on what they're doing. Yeah.
Other questions from commission? Hearing none, we'll call for the discussion about resolution R 44-26. Is there support for that motion?
So moved.
Support for the motion? Support for the motion? Hearing none, the motion dies for a lack of a second. Next, we're going to consider resolution number R-45-26.
A resolution to authorize an economic development loan to the Piqua Improvement Corporation.
Staff report, please.
This one pertains to 114 East Water Street, the Edison Building. Here again, the property is identified in community planning documents as a catalytic project, instrumental to advancing the community and economic development interests of the city and the residents. The loan is what would enable Piqua Improvement Corporation to secure the property on behalf of the city. The current owner has completed the renovation of the exterior and concluded that he would rather not proceed with the scope of work necessary for the interior. It is a substantial lift and more than he cares to pursue at this time. He approached the city and said that he would like to facilitate advancement of the vision for the riverfront revitalization, and that if the city would acquire the property, he would like to entertain that. PIC is the vehicle for us to do that. For PIC to do anything, as I mentioned earlier, they depend upon the financial support of the municipality. Happy to answer any other questions. I don't know how much more you want me to elaborate in light of the last vote.
Thank you. I have a public comment card from Kim Heisler in reference to R45-26.
I pretty much have the same exact questions on this. We're talking about the 114 East Water Street, right? Highest and best use. Right?
This is your time.
Yes, I'm asking you.
No, this is
Is
your
this
time
the
for
one
comment.
that's on 114 East Water Street? That's the one we're talking about.
Yes.
Thank you. Again, I'm asking you guys, same thing here. PIC is involved, and it's made to keep things secret and out of the public eye. It's okay to expand and stuff, but it should be at least transparent so that we can see what's actually happening here. And I would also suggest, again, to put guardrails on this, and I can read the same exact questions. The data center was also chosen by PIC as the highest and best use, and it's not going so well. So I don't understand stuff. And as Chris had mentioned before earlier, there's the little thing that came along that sidetracked the folks that had the Zollinger building, and things kind of fell through. Well, with the data centers, we're seeing a little thing that may arise that's going to come around, that's going to be a huge event, whether the electrical grid goes down or whether the data centers moratorium comes up or it doesn't get pushed through. So there is a lot of things in the process that we are spending monies on, that we are overextend. We're again $86 million in debt already. Trying to move forward on things, but at the end we are going by a 2007 comprehensive plan that was put together, and I'm sure back in 2007 we thought we'd be much bigger than 20,500. Nope. For 50 years we've been at that same, and all of a sudden we have someone coming along here that wants us to be the new Albany, and just put all kinds of money in, get us into debt, and we need to take us like a step at a time. Having all these appropriations and loans being put out there for something we think is going to be a good idea, and then we have the grid go down, whatever, and everything just come to a complete halt. I don't want to be sitting here with all kinds of debt with stuff half completed, because we weren't looking ahead. And the sanitation is an example of not looking ahead past 6 months. We have to look further than that. We have to look at spending down that $86 million. We have to look at getting Lock 9 paid off. Let's pay things off before we move forward. Let's do this like we would do at home with our own budget. Again, I would table this. And commissioners, I would hope that you guys would strongly look at this Piqua Improvement Corporation that's there by design, and somehow make this public so that the citizens can have some kind of say. Because I'd like to know if the Piqua Improvement Incorporation was behind the branding, because that was all secretive, coming along the same exact way. So, same questions on the loan terms. What's the specific repayment terms? Interest rate, I know you might have answered a few of these. What collateral? I know you said the building, but still, that's money against ourselves, billing. Under what circumstances can the loans be forgiven? If PIC sells or give these properties to a new private owner, how will the proceeds be used? Given PIC has previously taken parcels and transferred them at no private cost to private parties, what safeguards are in place to prevent this from happening? And what are the specific measurable public benefits? I mean, we have to we're looking at the things that is fantastic and great. Oh yeah, if this works, but you have to look at the other side
I'm sorry,
also.
your time is up.
Yes. Look at the whole picture. Don't just look at the shiny object. Look at what this shiny object's sitting on. Is it sitting on a foundation, or is it sitting on sand that's just going to wash away?
At this time, I will call for commissioners' comments and questions.
Chris, is PIC a public entity?
It's subject to sunshine laws, same as in public government would be.
Do their meetings have minutes?
They do.
Are their meetings open to the public?
They are.
Thank you.
Other questions from commission?
None other than the ones I had.
New questions from commission? Hearing none, we'll call for the motion in reference to resolution number R-45-26. Is there support for that motion?
So moved.
Moved. Support for the motion? Is there support for that motion? Hearing none, the motion dies for lack of a second. Now we're going to move on to resolution number R-47-26.
A resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a cooperative agreement with the Dayton-Montgomery County Port Authority and Miami Valley Steel Service, Inc. in connection with the development and financing of a manufacturing facility in the city of Piqua and declaring an emergency therein.
Commission, this resolution will allow for the Dayton Port Authority to provide its development finance tools that it has available to Miami Valley Steel Services, which would enable the 40,000 square foot addition that I referenced earlier, and make the economics of the project such that they can go forward with the improvements and create the additional 20 jobs, make a significant investment in our community, and continue to grow our economic interest and base in the community. Miami Valley Steel has been a long-standing member of our industrial community, one that we are happy to be able to support in any way that we can. Fortunately for us, in this case, all we have to do is say that we support the Dayton Port Authority being able to do business within our jurisdiction, and there's no other obligation on behalf of the city other than to show up at the ribbon cutting and celebrate the improvements that this industry is planning to make for their business.
I have a public comment card in reference to resolution 47-26. Kim Heisler.
So this one seems good. It seems like we're actually adding possibly jobs. How many jobs is coming? I think it looks great. So kind of help me out a little bit about this. I tried to do a little bit of research, and it looks like it says it's zero budgeted and zero expenditures. So is it truly, as you said, where we're just giving the approval, or is there actually, do we have to put any financing up front and then get paid back through the county? And can you guys also give us a little bit more information about the products that they do and what they're actually doing and expanding? This has come up many times in that it's an emergency measure. If we knew this was coming along again, why is this happening to be an emergency thing? What is going to be the impact if it does not get done now? Because I would like to see what, for preservation of public peace, property, health, and safety, what actually is the reason that it's an emergency, because I don't see that. So on page 47 of 86 on the resolution, down at section 1, it says, pursuant to the act, the city is hereby authorized to enter into a cooperative agreement. The proposed form of cooperative agreement on file, the clerk of commission is hereby approved. The city manager is hereby authorized and directed. I'm not sure what that means, and directed by who, I don't know. I'd like to know what that means. For and on behalf of the city to execute and deliver the cooperative agreement in substantially said Form 2 here attached here too, with such changes and insertions therein as such city manager with advice of council to the city may approve such approval to be conclusively evidenced by the execution and delivery thereof. It sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, but if you can actually put that in terms that like a grade schooler could understand what that actually means, and when it says and directed, who is that being directed by?
The commission. It's up above section 1. Now therefore be it resolved by the commission, the city commission of the city of
Okay.
Holmes.
Okay, so
This is
directed by the
Mrs.
commission.
Ms. Heisler's,
Right.
5
Yes.
minutes of uninterrupted time.
Thank you, Paul, for answering that so that you guys don't have to spend time later telling me. I appreciate that. That's part of a good conversation, getting questions answered immediately. That's fantastic. Okay. Yes, if you guys can explain what that company does as well, that'd be great.
Thank you. Are there questions, concerns from commission in reference to R-47-26?
It's not, it's not costing us any money, correct?
As previously stated, there is no obligation to the city.
And this isn't an emergency,
Yeah, forgive me for not expounding upon that. The emergency request is because the end recipient, in this case Miami Valley Steel Services, is desirous of advancing the project at the earliest date possible. The longer they wait, their contractors advise them prices continue to creep up on some of the materials. So they have asked the Port Authority to be able to complete the process so that they can execute the agreement necessary with them at the earliest date possible, hence the request for it to be an emergency. It does not truncate the approval process in any way at all. It's a resolution, it's this one hearing. It just eliminates the 10-day wait period for it to come effective.
and do you know how many jobs that may come out of this?
Previously stated, there's 20 jobs are estimated to be created as part of the project.
Other questions from commissioners? Hearing none, we'll consider the resolution. We're going to look at resolution R-47-26. Is there support for that motion?
I support the motion.
First,
I second.
it's been moved and seconded that resolution number R-47-26 be approved. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Call for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Simmons?
Nay.
Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Mayor Vetter?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBras?
Aye.
The motion is approved. Whereas the resolution is approved. Now we're going to consider resolution number R-48-26.
A resolution authorizing a purchase order to Ambient Productions LLC for services provided to the city of Piqua.
Good evening, Commissioners. This resolution would authorize a purchase order that we anticipate will be over the $75,000 threshold for the production services for the activities at Lock 9 venue for the 2026 season. We put out a request for proposal for the production services and received one response. It is the same respondent that we utilized last year.
Thank you. I have a comment card from Brody Fox in reference to 4826. Brody here? Second call. All right. Then I have a comment card from Kim Heisler from 4826.
Here we are again, Lock 9, spending more money. You guys have actually mentioned before that it's been a very great success. Let's take care of our other parks before we start spending more on this one. That would be fantastic. I also, just kind of curious, the RFP was actually in here, which typically is not. I was just curious why that was put in there. And I thought I actually saw in here that there was 3 that actually on page 60 of 86 it says the list of proposers: Low Voltage Solutions, Production Solutions Inc., or PSI, and Ambient Productions. Yet you said there was only one. I don't understand that. So when these proposals come in, who actually does the choosing of who gets that contract or whatever to do these things? I would hope the commissioners could actually see that stuff, but who does choose that? I think I've seen things before where it's on a metric system, but it's also good to have other input. And again, I hope this budget for $200,000 is not from the cannabis fund, because I would like for that, hope you guys also would like that to go to the regular parks that we have 1.8 million apparently for now, that we could certainly use the additional 416,000 for and not use for a Lock 9 park, which has been proven to be successful already. Let's use those funds for something else that will actually, fix roads or something like that. Also in section 2, on the resolution, it says finance director certified that funds are available or anticipated to come into the city treasury and hereby authorized to draw as warrant from time to time on the appropriate account of the city treasury and payment according to contract terms, not exceeding a total of $110,000 for 2026. Not to exceed $110,000 yet. It's budgeted for $200,000. Let's just take a look at that. And then certified that funds are available, which means they absolutely are, or anticipated, meaning may or may not be. That right there is a very bad move, because you could overspend very easily. So anticipated, then I guess the question is anticipated from where? Because a balanced budget works, and an anticipated one is just a bad move. So I don't understand that either.
Thank you. Now we'll have calls for questions from commission.
So the list of proposers, you sent out that, to these proposers, and you only got one back, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Did I understand that at one point in time, there are grants and other kinds of private donations that support activities at Lock 9?
Yes, we get sponsorships typically for a lot of the programming that happens at Lock 9. We've had a significant donor support our efforts there as well. So we do receive a lot of funding in specific to the programming.
One of the things I think I would appreciate and the public would appreciate is kind of a review of 25 to see what the actual final cost was for that. And again, I'm aware that we have city employees who are involved in helping with traffic control and all kinds of other issues. So a total cost for Lot 9 and 25 would be appreciated. Other questions or comments from the commission? Hearing none, we'll discuss approval of resolution R-48-26. Is there support for that motion, that resolution?
Move to support the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded that resolution number R-48-26 be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Let's have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Simmons.
Nay.
Commissioner Walker. Mayor Vedder.
Aye.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBras.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. Now we'll have the city manager report.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. The only thing I have to report this evening, there was an accident. It was a cruiser involved out on 75 at the 36 exit, and as far as I know, there were no injuries, but that was reported by the media that there was an accident there, and so that cruiser will be out until repaired. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
How's the officer? How's the officer?
There was no officer hurt in the
Okay.
wreck, as far as I know. Yeah.
The officer wasn't in the cruiser at the time.
Oh, okay.
Any other comments?
That's it this evening. Thank you.
All right. We'll have commissioners' comments. Start with Mr. Simmons.
Good evening. I'm going to make a motion, but I do have comments. I would like to present to my fellow commissioners that we cease negotiations on the city manager's contract, that we allow it to lapse, and that we immediately begin the search for a new city manager.
Is there support for that motion?
Commissioner Wade disappeared.
I think he's in the bathroom.
Oh.
If you like, we can wait till he returns. Doesn't bother me at all.
I can go ahead and give my comments. Things are getting close at home. There's probably maybe one more meeting when I can truthfully look into that little microphone in front of me and say, honey, I'll be home soon as the meeting's over. My wife is in her last days, so I appreciate and covet your prayers. Thank you. And I'm going to guess he's not going to give me a second. I can tell you right now, if nobody here is going to give me a second.
We can wait for
it's
that,
not
or if you're
gonna
comfortable to move on, we can move on.
Go ahead and move on.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
I'd just like to pass on prayers for our troops in the Middle East.
Good. We'll get back to Mr. Wade. Mr. DeBras, comments from you, please?
I yield back my time this evening.
Okay. I have a couple things I would like to make note of. Number one, I was privileged to attend the Salvation Army Volunteers Recognition Dinner last week. A couple interesting things came out of that meeting. There were over 19,000 summer meals distributed by the Salvation Army. Now think about that for a second. That's almost one meal for everybody who lives in Piqua. That's a lot of meals that were distributed over the summer. So the Salvation Army, very, very busy. The other part of the meeting that I found real interesting was that through the Christmas program sponsored by the Salvation Army, there were over 300 children who benefited from that activity. Pretty significant amount of activity. So Again, much kudos to the Salvation Army for their hard work. Secondly, I would tell you that I have been approved to the Miami Valley Regional Planning Center Executive Committee. I've been regular in attendance, and I'll be representing the city as we discuss executive issues with MVRPC. So that's an important place. My opinion is we need to have our face in front of their face. we need to be there, and that gives us a chance to be involved in the activities, and I consider it an honor to be considered. I had an opportunity to meet with our Finance Director, Jerry O'Brien, to review the December final financial reports, and I understand that we will be having a work session as we review 2025 to see how that all works out. Fourth, we are in discussion about having some sort of a tour for the Moat Park building. And for those who may not be familiar, that building is currently under lease, and I think the lease runs through the end of April. I'm looking at Paul. I think that's about accurate. So again, the future use of that building will be debated, and I think we've thought that a good opportunity to tour the building for folks to see that building and see what concerns might be present for that building. And then lastly, I saw on Facebook today that we got a new doggy vest for our canine. So I assume private funds were used for that.
It was a donation.
Yeah, very good. So I haven't personally met the dog, but so I'm sure I'll get sniffed because we have German Shepherds at my house, so we will probably get sniffed over. So, okay, Mr. Wade has not returned, so we will move on. Here he comes right now. I'm going to wait till he comes back.
Can I make my motion one more time?
Yeah, you may.
Back. Okay.
Get him back here and you can do that.
Ooh, bright light.
Commissioner Wade, we want to give you an opportunity if you have public comment, the commissioner comment that you'd like to make.
I do not today.
Okay. And Mr. Simmons has a motion that he would like to put forward, so listen carefully to him.
Okay. I wanted to move that we cease negotiations on the city manager's upcoming contract renewal, that we allow it to lapse, and that we immediately begin the search for a new city manager. And in your absence, I was unable to get a second. So if you would like to give it a second, you're welcome to.
Not at this time, ma'am.
Is there support for the motion that Mr. Simmons is proposing? Hearing none, the motion lacks for a lack of a second. Now we have completed the business agenda, so I would look for a motion to adjourn the business portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that our agenda be completed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Now, are we comfortable to move ahead into the non-agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I have a couple of comment cards from the